The single goal of racing is to be faster than your opponent, but as the track gets longer, it becomes more of a challenge to keep the pace. Hey everybody, I'm Jeremiah, and I'm interested to see if we will have cars that will be ahead in the first half of the race and fall down in the second half because they just don't have the endurance that they need to have for this endurance tournament day 2 here on Races and Fun. So for today's video, we will be having the team pickups versus the fantasy cars. Which one of these groups has more endurance, we'll have to find out as we take a look at the first group. The Nash versus the Chevy pickup. This is the longest track to date here on Races and Fun. It is the Nash off to the early lead through the first corners. And these corners are very tight compared to some of our previous videos. We go down the next corner, and it is the Chevy pickup who has taken the lead. The Nash did not have the proper endurance that he needed for the second half of this race. Will he be able to come up right at the last second? It's not looking like it. The Chevy pickup is still able to hold the lead, but the Nash comes up right there. They're neck and neck, and the Nash is able to take over the lead. Wow. The Chevy pickup loses it out within the last corner. That is a show that that pickup did not have the endurance he needed for this tournament. Next up, Ford F-150 and the Lethal Diesel. And it's Ford F-150 who has the slight lead in the first half of the race. Is he wasting all his energy for the finish of the second half? He is losing a little bit of ground to the Lethal Diesel there, down to the second to last corner. And it's Lethal Diesel who is now in lead. They are neck and neck to the final corner. This will make or break your race right here. And it is the Ford F-150 who comes out to the lead. He'll take this heat. With, let's see what the time was on that race. It was 21, faster than the last race. Now for the Fusion Busta versus the GMC Cyclone. And they are off neck and neck. Neither car really wanting to push ahead right at the beginning of the race, but it is the Cyclone who does push out right at that first corner. And he is taking this heat by storm, way far ahead of the Fusion Busta. It's not looking like he's going to even be challenged for the lead. He just sprinted the entire way. Didn't even treat it like an endurance race, but he slowed down there. Fusion Busta's coming up right behind him, but he isn't able to do it, and the Cyclone is able to take this heat. Very risky move by the Cyclone, using up all his energy, and barely made it out at the last corner. Now the Lulux versus Match It Go. Or is it Mock It Go? Well, right now it is the Lulux who is in the lead. There are really two types of cars in this tournament. The car that will go in the early lead and then lose out in the second half. And there's the car who waits until the other car gets farther ahead and then comes out in the front right in the second half. Right now they're neck and neck. Who'll come out of this final corner? And it is the Lulux with a slight lead. He will take this heat. And now for Count Muscula versus the Studebaker. And they're off. Studebaker off to the slight lead through the first corner. Let's see if he falls out through the second and third corner. And he's still in the lead. Muscula showing that he just doesn't have enough endurance even to just keep up. He definitely chose the wrong strategy for this race, unless somehow the pickup is able to slow down. And he does a little bit there, but he will be able to take this heat. Team Pickup is doing a good job at advancing their cars so far in this tournament. Now for Draftinator versus the Roadster Bite. And they're off neck and neck at this point. See who comes out first, and it is the Roadster taking the lead strategy in the beginning of the race. If you are able to keep the lead right from the start and gain enough of a lead, even if you lose your stamina and endurance in the second half of the race. Hopefully, the lead you had already gained will give you kind of a safety cushion and let you make it to the end before the other car is able to catch up to you. We saw that with one of the pickups earlier in the video. And it's looking like that's what the Roadster is doing in this race. Roadster will be winning this heat by far. Draftinator not even close. You can show some of these cars just have enough power to just push through and stay in lead for the entire race. And now for the Diecast versus the Volkswagen. And Diecast all the way up, immediately in the lead, right out of the starting gate. But then it is the Volkswagen coming up right after the first corner. You can see what a mistake the Diecast did there. Using up all his energy to try to take the lead right out of the gate. And he is lagging behind in the second half of the race. More than the second half, the second 2/3 of this race. And it is the Volkswagen who will take this heat. Unless somehow the Diecast will be able to catch up. But it's not looking like it's going to happen. No, it won't. Hopefully the rest of the cars in this video can take note of what not to do from that heat. Ford F-150 and the Bully Goat. And we're off the Ford F-150 taking the lead right out of the starting gate, just like the Diecast did in last heat. Will he lose out to the Goat? We'll have to see. A little slow through that corner, but so is the Goat. The F-150 trying to make that safety cushion I was mentioning earlier. It's looking like it's paying off. They go through the final corner. The Goat very much behind. F-150 will definitely take this heat. Goat coming in pretty far behind. Let's see what the time was for the F-150 here. 22. Decent time, but I've seen a 20. So not the best, but not the worst. So 2 fantasy cars will be advancing and 6 pickups to the second round. The fantasy cars are having a very hard time in this tournament. So now for the Roadster Bite versus the GMC Cyclone. And neck and neck coming out of the gate. Kind of seems like the best thing to do in this endurance tournament. No one really wants to go out to the extended lead at the beginning of this tournament unless you just are sure that you'll be able to keep the lead for the remainder of the race. And it is the Roadster who is taking the lead in the second half of this race. The Cyclone is trying to make it up in the last corner. Will he be able to? He's coming there, and he's taking the lead. And it will be the Cyclone who will take the lead and win this heat. The Roadster losing out in the last corner. Now for the Volkswagen Caddy and the Nash. That last corner is very crucial in this race. It seems like if you are in the lead, you will slow down through that corner. So you really need to be pretty far ahead if the other car's even within the vicinity of your area. And who's coming out first in this heat? It is the Nash from the Fantasy Cars team. Will the pickups be able to come up here? They're neck and neck to the final corner. Who will come out first? It's the pickups. The Nash won't be able to hold the lead. He lost the lead in that last corner. He didn't have enough endurance. This track, over 100 feet long. The Lulux and the Studebaker up next. And these cars are really being put to their limits in this tournament. They have never seen a track this long before. They come up first. The Studebaker is in the lead. Lulux taking the slower route in the first section of the course. But now he's trying to catch up here. Let's see if he passes through the next corner. And it will still be the Studebaker who is in the lead now for the final corner. There's still a possibility that Lulux could come up and take the win, but he's really slow through that corner, and it will be the Studebaker who will take this heat. At this point, though, it's 2 pickups racing against each other. So even though they both wanted to make it to the finals, only one can do so. So they're under less pressure to advance. Two F-150s, here we go, the red one and the blue one. And they're neck and neck. These two cars should be similar in terms of strategy and of handling, because they are similar vehicles. But it is the red F-150 who comes out to the lead in the second half of the course. The Goodyear blue F-150 lagging behind a little bit. And he still could pass if the red F-150 has trouble through this corner. And he does there. Blue F-150 coming up from behind. They're neck and neck, but not quite. And the red F-150 will be advancing. Now for the semifinal round. And all of the fantasy cars have been eliminated. This will guarantee a pickup advancement. Studebaker versus Cyclone. And we are off. Fantasy cars have had a failure in this tournament, not even getting one car to the semifinals. They will definitely not be advancing to the final video in this tournament. And it is the Cyclone who has the commanding lead at this point. Will he be able to keep the lead in this final corner? It's looking like it. He does have a little bit of a slow there. He will be taking this heat. The Studebaker will be eliminated. Let's see what the time was for the Cyclone. 20.77, a pretty good time. Now for the Volkswagen versus the Ford F-150. The better of the two F-150s in this tournament, the red one, coming out very quickly into the lead through the first straight. Will he be able to endure the rest of the race? We'll have to see. We've entered the second half of the race, and the F-150 is still in the lead. Doing a good job at endurance at this point. And through the final corner. He's definitely going to take this heat. F-150 will be advancing to the final round of this video. Now for the finals. Which cars will it be? The car with the best time will advance to the final video of this tournament. Ford F-150 versus the Cyclone. Really, it is about time, not necessarily about beating your competitor. So, these cars can focus more on the speed and just lasting out, not necessarily having to play catch-up with each other. And it is the Cyclone who is in the lead in this heat. We'll have to see how the Ford F-150 will be able to do in terms of time as well. And he's coming up there, and he will pass the Cyclone, and he'll get a better time. Looks like a 20.96 from that side angle. Yes, it is. Now let's see what the Cyclone can do. Will the Cyclone be able to have a better time in this next heat? Cyclone trying to get out in the lead at the beginning of the race strategy. F-150 is lagging behind, just waiting for the Cyclone to slow down in the second half of the race. Cyclone does not want that to happen, though, as he is gaining a lot of speed. Looks like he'll be having the better time. What will the time be? Will he be able to advance? 20.47. He gets the better time. The F-150 only has one more chance to beat this time. If he doesn't, the Cyclone will be advancing to the final video of this tournament. The F-150 in the slight lead, but the Cyclone also coming out as well. Endurance has been thrown out the window at this point. They're just sprinting to the line. And it is the Cyclone who gains lead in the second half of the race. F-150 is having trouble with some endurance. And the Cyclone will, if he wins this tournament, then he will be advancing to the final round. F-150 coming up here. But the Cyclone will be winning this heat, and he gets a 20.78. And he'll be advancing to the final round of this tournament in the final video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more races and fun.